Remember that song from Space Jam?
I do.
Time keeps on slipping, slipping, slipping.
Go ahead. Finish it off.
Into the future. Don't go like that. Okay.
Isn't it future? Maybe I was off key a little bit, but
Yeah.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to yet another amazing show, After School with the Lawsons. And guess what? Yes, I know. I have my beautiful wife with me today, you guys. I'm super excited. I mean, just look at her. Look at her.
Cheerio.
Okay, that ruined it. All right. Yeah, I'm trying here. I figured I would give you one more chance. And we'll see how you do the rest of the show.
Well, you got to have the looks with the laughs. Got to have the humor.
What about the brains?
I definitely have those.
Oh, I don't know. Not after today.
The whole printer thing, I mean.
Let them know. Tell them. Or I will.
Yeah, you can tell them.
So, okay. Welcome back to the show, first off. Thanks for joining me, honey. But we're just going to dive right in because, for as smart as you are.
Hey, I'm book smart. Not necessarily hands-on smart.
No, it's called common sense.
Well.
It's simple. Okay. Paper jam. For one, she don't know how to open the printer. It's not even, it's like an HP.
Most printers.
It's not an office printer.
What do you mean it's not an office printer?
It's not like a big, what is it called? Like a big giant office printer. It's like it's a residential one. It's not like a commercial printer.
But it still goes in the office.
Correct, but it's not like a giant one. Those can be a little confusing at times.
Well, this is a normal size printer for a home, not a business.
Mm-hmm.
And all the other printers I've had in the past, you open the drawer, you put the paper in, and you shut it. This has got a hidden button on it that you got to press it. How did you even open the thing?
Push the button.
The button's on the inside, though. So how'd you even open it?
You just pull it out a little bit, and then you got to push the button.
See,
and then pull it
why even what's the point of that button, though?
Safety.
Well, what could possibly go wrong?
A kid could go in there, put some construction paper in, then you're really in.
Even with the safety feature on, it's still got a paper jam.
It's true.
So.
But yeah, you are so smart. You're a lot smarter than me. You're super intelligent, but you do lack in the common sense. For example, we used to have a homemade ice maker, the ones with the trays. I guess it wouldn't be an ice maker. It was an ice former. The little trays, you fill it up with water, you put it in the freezer, and then it makes your ice, and you got to twist it and crack it,
Yeah.
Of course because we had it. I'm talking to them, honey.
I'm really into the conversation. I'm like, yeah.
So she washed one and dried it and then put water in it to fill it up with wet water.
No, correction. I washed it and then dried it.
Yeah.
And then just let it sit out. And then I filled it up with water later and put it away.
I seen you dry it and immediately, once you dried it, fill it with water.
But what's wrong with that? Because when you wash it, there could be leftover debris.
Leftover water debris?
It could be moldy, could be dirt, anything. So, I'm just getting it extra clean.
You are. But, if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't have had ice then.
Right.
But thank God we got an ice maker now, so I don't have to watch her dry the thing, fill it full of water, and then put it back in the freezer.
Now it's all on you about replacing the filter and all that. So.
Yeah, I kind of wish we just go back in the day, back in the old times and get the ice filter. But seriously, I pick on her all the time, but I love her to death. She does the same to me. You should see what she does to me off camera. Seriously. She abuses me.
Well, we were in the middle of watching our show last night, and it's this new show. And every couple seconds, I've never seen it. He's like, how do you spell this? How do you spell that? And I'm like, oh my gosh, if he does not shut up right now,
I can't spell anything.
And then I finally just started ignoring you, acting like I didn't hear you, just watching the show. And then I hear him over there. Hey, Siri, how do you spell?
Hey, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, guys, thanks for joining us. It's a little toasty in here tonight for some reason. Maybe it's the flannel, but...
It's the flannel because I'm a little cold.
As you can tell, my voice is a little bit deeper today, and it's not because I've hit puberty again. It is simply because, it's just that time of year. It's drainage.
Mine's a little deeper.
The kids are just getting over being sick.
This whole house has been sick off and on for like 4 weeks.
A long time.
Yeah. And I think the only one in the house who isn't sick, knock on wood, is Leighton right now. She's doing a lot better. So,
I mean, considering her past 3 or 4 weeks, I mean, hopefully
I feel like we're getting better though.
Who?
Us. Ours is clearing up. It's just a lot of drainage right now. A lot
of drainage. My voice is still in and out.
But there for a couple of days, we were feeling rough.
I felt rough the past couple of days.
Yeah.
But I'm back at it. But yeah, a couple things we want to talk about tonight. One, we started a new TV show. What's it called?
We started watching. I was like, we didn't start filming a show.
Yeah, not us, but I'm saying we started watching.
Quiet on Set. It's about Nickelodeon.
Yes, super good. So we're going to dive into that. And then also we wanted to talk about, we're going to start with the Nickelodeon and then slide into just, since we're both step parents, I think we should definitely talk about that.
Well, we're a mixed family.
Yeah. Mixed family. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So again, thanks for joining us. If you're driving and listening, make sure you're buckled up and you're smiling and you're having yourself a good day.
Click it or ticket.
Bingo. All right. Anyways.
That always reminds me of, is it Talladega Nights?
Yeah, where he's like, bingo.
Where he's like, what's the capital of whatever? He goes, Washington, D.C. Bingo.
That's right. But the new show, super good. When I was a kid, I always watched Nickelodeon. That was like the thing.
Yeah.
Like
the
saw.
lady on the set, it was that or Disney.
Yeah. And, just the classic, the Nick, Nickelodeon. I mean,
watching Double Dare and all that. I remember when it came out, I mean, it just, what was it, last year? I had an All That t-shirt wearing it around. Yeah. And I didn't know anything about what went on until we started watching that. I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, so if you guys haven't seen it, definitely look into it. It'll change your whole, mindset on Nickelodeon. Because we would watch these child actors and not know what they're going through, and then they're entertaining us and we're laughing. And
well, even some of the scenes that were produced and put on television, like back then when you're kids, you don't pay attention to it. But as parents now and adults, you look at it, you're like, that's kind of crossing the line. It's kind of perverted or, sexual. And you're like, oh my gosh. Like, obviously that's meant to be there for a reason. Like someone has some kind of, what's the word I'm looking for?
Motive?
Yes. Yeah. To put that in there.
Or like pushing an agenda or something.
Yes.
So Dan Schneider, who was a writer, a producer of the Nickelodeon TV show,
many shows,
yeah, but really skyrocketed during his Nickelodeon career. He's in some hot water, or has been in hot water.
I don't know if he's in prison now,
yeah,
or I mean, we haven't finished watching the show. We're on like episode 3.
Yeah,
we're about to watch Drake Bell talk on the show.
Yeah.
So,
and I believe, from my understanding and from what I saw, he kind of got it the worst. Not from Dan Schneider, but his partner. I cannot remember his name. Mike Liddell?
No, something Peck.
Oh, Brian Peck.
Yeah.
Brian Peck, who was Pickle Boy, if you guys remember. I remember him as Pickle Boy. He would just pop
Pickle
up on
Boy on
random
all
shows.
that, but then he was the producer, I believe, of Drake and Josh.
Correct. And then, so long story short, because we could go on and on, it's like a couple series, television or TV show, but Dan Schneider was like you said, pushing an agenda.
Kind of like the ringer of it all.
Yeah. And he was just like into children and just weird fetishes, feet fetishes, just making these Amanda Bynes, Ariana Grande, all these.
He also did a lot of gender discrimination as far as like women his own age in the workforce, I mean, paid them differently, treated them differently. I mean.
Yeah, the dude had the girls on there he hired 2 writers, sketch comedy writers, and
made them split their salary.
Crazy.
But then all the other males that were writers each got paid a salary.
Yeah. And, these 2 females are splitting a salary. And then he would make them do weird stuff like bend over the desk and act like she was getting sodomized.
Yeah.
While telling them, her skit. And that was like funny to them. That was like office humor. But, as the years go on, they pick up on Dan Schneider and understand like, this dude is weird.
Right.
And not only was he doing it to the producers and co-writers and all those other people behind the scenes, he was involving it with the children that were the stars of these big name TV shows, And one in particular that rings a bell for me is Amanda Bynes, who I don't even know if she's even on the show that we're watching because she's so messed up.
Yeah, she's so, well, from what I've seen or read, she's so like off the grid, not as far as like social media, but just like off the grid as far as she's no longer in TV and she doesn't want anything to do with that. And I never understood why, but I can see why now, you know?
I mean, there's no telling what
and it hasn't even gotten to it, I mean, it hasn't given a little bit of detail as far as, it hasn't given us anything as far as what she's went through. Yeah. And it's like, she's been around longer than anybody. I guarantee she's went through something.
And that was like his star.
Yes.
I mean, him and
they
her
were super close.
So close.
I mean, it even got to the point, I don't know if you were paying attention because I know you were working at one point, but when we were watching it, she got to the age, I think, of like 15 or 16, and she was dating someone, and her parents didn't like it because they were like, still her parents. And
they wanted the best intentions. And she was, like you said, she was 16, very high in the light and, the spotlight. And her parents were like, regardless of your age, you still need to not date an older person.
He was older. And so she got upset. And so Dan Schneider helped her to try to emancipate herself.
Yeah, get a divorce from her mom and dad.
Yeah. And it's like, obviously that didn't work out, but that makes him look awful. Right. You know what I mean? And it's like, so.
Yeah, he was almost like consoling it, like, like using him to like let her lean on him during that situation.
Yeah.
Consoling, yeah. Just making it seem like it's okay, don't worry about your parents, come over here. And
right.
There's no telling from, that time. And I don't even know if we'll even hear from Amanda from that show.
I highly doubt it.
And, the people can only speculate because she's probably so messed up. She ain't even talking about it.
Well, the thing is, they said on there that when they were filming all that, they would constantly say, "Where's Amanda? Where's Amanda?" And they would say, "Oh, she's in she's in her room writing, going over scripts with Dan alone." And it's like,
and back then the rules were like the parents had to be involved.
Well, the rules were the parents had to be there,
but they weren't.
The directors, producers, and all that, Dan would not allow the parents on set. So it's almost like there's a piece of caution tape that they're not allowed to cross. Yeah. So
it's crazy. It really makes you kind of think back, and they show some of like the really popular, like the sugar one we watched of them like dumping all the sugar in their mouth, sugar and coffee, and just. And they almost humiliated the kids without humiliating the kids until they grew up later.
Well, that boy on there was saying, he was like, no one understands how physically exhausting that scene was. He said, because we had to do it so long and so many times.
And it's real sugar.
And he said, and it's real sugar. It feels like it's sand hitting you in your face. And I mean,
yeah.
He said they constantly broke labor laws because they're only supposed to work a certain amount of hours. And they would say, well, we want you to stay over and film this. So, I mean.
And, the crazy thing is the parents were like, they didn't feel like they had to be involved because it was just a fun TV show. It was for kids, so the parents kind of sat on the, in the back, and if they were hanging out with Dan or whatever, it wasn't a big deal. He was their producer. They wanted their child to do so much. Yeah, but also
there were, wolves in sheep's clothing as far as that first guy. What was his name? Justin or something like that.
The one that
who was supposed to be tending to the kids. Yeah. tending to the kids, and he was really nice and blah, 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 but then he was a straight up pedophile who got arrested. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the parents felt great around him. Oh, he's so nice. He's so sweet, you know, so.
Yeah, and he had freak. I'm talking major freak. Weirdo.
I mean, he had little sandwich baggies of girls' names on them with items like
tokens.
Yeah.
Of, you know, for one example, one may have been like a piece of their costume.
Well,
one of the little girls, what was it?
She was 7 or 9. It was a pair of her underwear.
Yeah.
And it had her name on it. And this guy's like 30-something years old.
Yeah.
And they ended up finding his journal, and he said, I constantly fight he said, in his journal, he says, I am a full-blown pedophile.
Yeah.
And then on another page, he says, I constantly fight myself on a daily basis, trying to resist grabbing a random young girl to rape.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
Freak.
Yeah.
You know, and it's crazy. It's crazy. And, you know, Nickelodeon's a big thing now, but
what's wild is, though, like, you understand stuff is going on like that today, but you never would have pictured it going on back then, even though it's been going on all along.
I mean, look what they did to the Jews.
No, I understand.
The Nazis did to the Jews.
I know that,
you know?
but I'm saying as far as like, for example, the child molestation, like it's always been going on, but you didn't hear about it as much. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, yes. I mean, social media wasn't a thing back then.
Right.
You know, I'm sure it was all going on, but I do see what you're saying.
But it's like, obviously the world's gotten worse, but it's like, you never would have thought, oh, Nickelodeon out of all things.
Yeah. A place where it was like fun and, you know, you sit around the television and laugh and,
right.
And I wonder if Dan Schneider did some of those things. And it said that he was doing it just to get away with it because, like, it would be so under the radar.
Well, just like
the Pickle Boy. You know, there was a sketch where Pickle Boy's walking down the hallway and someone's in the bathroom, and the guy in the bathroom's like, "I'm so hungry," and Pickle Boy's walking down the hall and he hears the guy saying, "I'm so hungry," and he looks at his pickles, is like, I have a pickle. Well, he goes to hand him a pickle. Through the doorknob,
there's a hole in
the door where a doorknob would be, and he sticks the pickle through there. I mean, come on. The dude grabs it when he eats the pickle. He's using both hands.
And he's moaning.
And he's like, "Oh, this is so good," you know, and...
Well, just like that one on the Amanda Bynes show, he even said, because he got questioned about it before it got published on air, Penelope taint.
Yeah.
And... they questioned him. They said, wait a minute. And he goes, no, it's supposed to mean taint, as in like tainted.
Yeah.
And they said, oh, okay. And then he told the writers, he's like, that's not what it really means. It really means, you know.
Yeah.
And then he was like, but we can get away with it.
Yeah. It was like, that was the joke.
Yeah.
It wasn't the fact that I'm going to just name this girl Penelope Taint.
Right.
The joke was, I'm going to name her Penelope Taint.
Right.
And make it think, you know, it means something else, but really it means this.
Yeah.
That's the funny part.
Yeah.
I mean, just stupid stuff like that. It's just...
But having a little girl say that on TV, like, obviously she's super innocent.
Right.
But you're ruining her innocence.
Yeah.
Like...
Yeah, and especially, I mean, 25 years later, and, you know, I don't know how old Amanda Bynes is now, but...
I think she's about our age.
Yeah, I mean, funny show though. I mean,
yeah, I love Amanda Bynes.
Some of the, like, the girls' room.
I used to love www.amandaplease.com.
Yeah,
that was my favorite.
She was funny, and she was like doing stand-up comedy at like 6 years old.
Yeah, 6 or 7,
which was crazy
at comedy clubs.
Yeah. And I mean, I want to try stand-up, and I talked to you about that, and I don't know if I said it on here, but I think I'm gonna start writing some little stand-up jokes, and my buddy and Whitney told me that I should like try like a one, I need to try it around people that I know, like family. Work your and friends,
way up,
but do like 5-minute open mics.
Yeah,
you know. I think I got a killer opener though. Me and Whitney's worked on it together, and you're pretty funny too. So, but the opening joke is I'm not gonna tell you, because then you wouldn't come to the 5-minute fame that I'm going to have at the open mic night, baby.
Right.
But seriously though, I think it's going to be a good 5 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to just be based off kids and being a dad and being a husband. And, you know, that's stuff's funny.
Yeah.
Our household is very funny. I mean, as you could tell, we write sketch comedy, if you think about it, with our YouTube channel and stuff. I mean, it's constantly a skit, you know?
Yeah, and I mean, no one writes that stuff for us.
No.
We do. Well, I mean, the kids create it, obviously, but we are the ones that piece it together, you know, and do all that. I mean, we don't have people doing that for us.
No, it's just, you know, open eyes and open ears.
And we always have new content. It's never the same.
Yeah, because the kids are breathing. As long as those little crotch goblins are alive
and growing,
we're going to have content for days. That's for sure. But yeah, if y'all haven't seen the new Nickelodeon show, what is it called? Something
Quiet on Set.
Yeah, Quiet on Set. Go check it out. It's on Max. We got Max for like 1 month for like $15, and we're going to cancel it after.
Yeah. As soon as we watch the show, we're just going to cancel it.
But it's worth it. It's pretty good. We'll probably watch an episode or two after this. But
yeah, that's why I'm trying to hurry up and get this podcast done so we can hurry up and watch it.
Well, you are so beautiful tonight. Seriously.
Thanks, honey.
You look so good. But yeah, and the next thing we want to talk about is just being a parent, and not just being a parent, being a step parent. And that's hard. Especially when
it's not just one of us, it's both of us. You're a step parent and I'm a step parent.
Yeah. You know, and if you guys don't know, Cadence is not my biological daughter. She's not my blood. But I'm dad to her. I've raised her since she was 4. You know, I've been in her life since she was 4. She used to call me Daniel, super country. She would say, Daniel, look at the camera. You know?
Then I don't even think she asked me, or did she even ask you?
No.
She didn't ask me at all. She just randomly one day started calling you dad.
Yeah, I don't know if it was because, you know, my kids were saying dad, you know, and she was like, oh, maybe he's my dad, you know. So she wanted to call me dad too.
It was so sweet, yeah.
And then, well, it did. It happened out of the blue, but the main thing is parenting that stepchild. And especially knowing that you have all good intentions for that child. But for the longest time, I felt like you thought that I was parenting her differently, which I kind of was in a way, you know. I don't know why, but obviously, you know, being through a divorce, I don't have my kids here as much as I have Cadence, right?
Right.
You know, Eli's here all the time now, which is great. You know, he's here a lot. And, you know, that, but at the beginning, he wasn't here that much, you know, and just your standard visitation. It wasn't because I was doing anything bad.
Right.
But just your standard visitations. And that co-parenting relationship has grew tremendously within the past 3 years.
Well, it's gotten really good within the past.
Yeah, it's got really good within the past year or 2 years or so.
Yeah, right.
But, you know, it's growing. Co-parenting is growing, and it's constantly working. And I guess we grow as individuals, and we learn that, hey, this is great for the kids. And,
right.
You know, we have both come to that understanding, and we have a really good co-parenting relationship. You two have a really good co-parenting relationship as well.
Right.
You and Savannah, so which is Eli's mom, but everything has worked out. But parenting Cadence is different than parenting Eli, you know, and I don't know why that is, but I see so much potential in Eli, but I also see so much potential in Cadence. And technically, Cadence was kind of like my first little girl, you know, because I've been with her since she was 4. You know, she's about to be 12
right
now. Even though Leighton is my blood, I still look at Cadence as being my blood, you know. And
I kind of feel like where you said you kind of feel like you used to treat her differently just a little bit, and you're not really sure about that. I kind of feel like it goes back a little bit to you saying, you know, back when the co-parenting wasn't that great and we didn't get Eli very often, except, you know, just on, you know, every other weekend. You're probably thinking in your mind, you know, well, this is how I normally, you know, treat it. I don't think it's necessarily treating her differently, but I kind of saw that maybe in my eyes, because you're probably thinking, well, my son's coming over and I don't get to see him very often, so I'm going to let more things slide with him because when he's here, I want him to be happy.
Yeah.
And then with her, you know, she's here all the time. And of course, you know, I love her the same just as much as I love Eli. Mm-hmm. But obviously she's here, so, you know, I'm going to discipline her the way she needs to be disciplined. I'm going to parent her the way she needs to be parent. But obviously...
And she was older. She's older than Eli.
Right,
you know?
right. But mainly I think because him not being over so much, you're like babying him. Yeah. Like you just want him to enjoy himself more than getting in trouble.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I could definitely see that, especially with him being over every other weekend.
And I think maybe that in the past just hurt my feelings because I'm like, why is she always getting in trouble? But then I didn't see it from your point of view. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, for sure. And, you know, just since we're very vulnerable here on the podcast, and you guys listening are pretty much part of the family at this point. I mean, y'all know all kinds of weird stuff about me, from smelling pimples to combing my beard with a fork and putting it in the drawer to her shitting issues, you know? So we know everything. You guys know so much about us, and there's still a lot to learn. But
I like to smell my nose ring. That's what I'm doing right now.
She's weird. But
it's like the weirdest smell, but
disgusting.
It smells so good.
Disgusting. Ugh. I gagged a little bit and I forgot where I was even going with this conversation, but you know, Cadence was older.
They're like pretty much part of the family.
Yeah,
and
you literally messed me all up smelling that thing. Yeah, you guys are part of the family, but I want to be vulnerable with you all. But we had a long discussion. Cadence really hurt my feelings the other night, and it's kind of been building up. And on the other podcast, we were talking about emotional being the word of the week, and I don't know if that played into it as well, and just having a lot of emotions on my mind. But just the attitude, you know, she's almost 12 years old. She's taller than me.
Well,
she's got a little attitude.
She has hit puberty. Yeah. She started her menstrual cycle a year ago. So, I mean,
unfortunately,
she's got hormones, you know, raging, or not necessarily raging, but
raging.
They're full force, you know, and also, I mean, that preteen stage, they're rebellious, you know, they have the attitude, the smart mouth. I mean, she's a great kid. I mean, she listens as far as like, don't go here, don't do this. She does that very well. But her issue is her not listening as far as this in the house, like as far as just in general. And then her attitude at the house. When we're out and about, or if she's like at school,
she's superstar.
Amazing. But it's just, I feel like she's just at that age, number one. And then it's just, I've read somewhere that kids act like that with their parents because they're most comfortable with them. They act like that when they're out and about and at school because they're not comfortable with that person. So they're going to be on their best behavior. So, I mean, I don't know. You just really think about everything.
Yeah, she's a superstar. She's one to get everybody on her team. You know, even at basketball, she gets compliments from her basketball tutor. She gets compliments from her Taekwondo instructors, you know.
Her
teacher. I mean, she just got an award for Leader of the Month, you know.
In her school, yeah.
And she's always about helping people, but she's always giving Dad a hard time too. And I don't know if it's because, well, she's gotten away with kind of lashing back for many years, you know, so I think she's kind of like used to it and knows that Mom will take my side, or, you know, Mom will get on to Dad for getting on to me.
Which has caused us, I mean, I feel like I'm put in the middle, but that causes us to argue.
Yeah. I think 90% of our discussions or arguments stem from the way we parent the stepchild, or something involving the stepchild.
One of the kids.
Point. Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, I hate that because we don't argue, you know, unless it involves around the kids, honestly.
Yeah.
I don't know why I keep saying stepchild, but the kids, you know.
Well, whether it be, you know, something you're saying to Cadence or I'm saying to Eli, you know, it's vice versa. But as far as the whole Cadence thing, you know, I feel like, you know, you had a breakdown, and I feel like that's when I finally saw it, you know, because it's not that you were angry. It's just that you were hurt. And, you know, I've kind of seen it more. I think I've seen it more here within the past couple weeks than I've seen it in the past, as far as like her attitude, because it's been happening to me more too.
Yeah, she's testing the waters, you know, especially I see her testing the waters with you.
Right. And I think where you've brought it up a lot more here lately, I've just really been paying attention, and then I've just been noticing it. And then finally, when you had that breakdown, I was like, man, this is, you know, this is real, because it's different when you pop off or get mad. But when you really like get sad like that, I'm like, you know, this is legit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And there's certain things that I can take as a parent. And I feel like it's just stuff you deal with kids in general. Like, you're going to have to tell your kid numerous times to go brush your teeth, or it's time to get ready for bed, or pick up after yourself. I mean, it's a kid.
Right.
You know what I mean? Their minds are 1,000 miles an hour. They got so much going on. You're going to repeat yourself. But there's a point to where when you do repeat yourself, you may get a little sassy tone. As far as me, I may get a little sassy. And then when she finally hears it for the first time, after I've said it the 6th time, there's attitude in her voice. And it's not what she says in the moment. It's literally how she says it, or the facial expressions.
Right.
It's like, that drives me up the wall. The facial expressions, I can't stand, you know, and we don't do that to them. So why should they do that to us? And, you know, I think for the most part, it's I feel like it's harmless for Cadence. You know, she doesn't mean it intentionally, but it's one of those things, like, if you don't nip it in the butt now,
well, she's got to understand though, like, you don't respond that way or have those facial expressions to your teacher or anything. Yeah, exactly. So why are you doing it to us?
And that's what we talked about. And just, you know, just simple respect. And when someone's talking to you, you respond. And we don't know if it has something to do with this, you know, a cell phone, her being involved in that, and like not understanding how to communicate, you know.
So we took that away for a bit.
We're so dived in the cell phone. So, you know, but yeah, it hurt my feelings the way she's been treating me lately, and I let Whitney know about it. And for the first time, I think ever, and I think it's because more I was upset. I've never been upset talking to you. It's always been, I've been mad talking to you about it.
Right.
Not mad at you, but mad at the situation.
Right.
But like, I was genuinely upset. I mean, I was crying, you know, just like, I worked so hard for her, you know, to have such a good life, to be in all the extracurriculars.
You kind of feel like you're being taken advantage of, like taken for granted.
Yeah, or almost like, does she even love me?
Right.
And I feel like it's harder because I am the stepdad. I'm not the real dad. You know what I mean?
But in this case, you're like, but I am the real dad. Exactly. I've been raising you.
Exactly.
You know?
So I was like, maybe she thinks of me as a stepdad, and this is normal for people to treat their stepdads because she's my only stepchild. You know what I mean?
But that's when we had the conversation with her. We told her to be open and honest, and she said, no, that's not it. Mm-hmm. And she doesn't know why she didn't really give us
there's no reason. I mean, she has her reasons, but she didn't tell us the reason.
I think one of the main reasons why she's done that because she's gotten away with it for so long, because she knows mom's going to jump in and save me, or I can go to mom for this. And I think that's been a big issue. And I think the past few days where I've changed that to where I have your back, you have mine. Like, just like today, when you started to tell them something and they weren't paying attention, I jumped in right away. And, you know, vice versa, you've done that for me. I mean, and we've straight told her, if there's if something's going on, dad tells you to do something, do not come to me, you know, and say, oh, dad told me. No, because I'm going to say, what did your dad say? And vice versa. So, I mean, and I feel like things have, of course, kids aren't going to listen as far as being loud or whatever. You're going to have to repeat yourself. But I feel like it's gone pretty well the past few days.
Yeah. And what I was saying is, with me being that upset talking to you about it, I felt like that was the first time you've actually like listened instead of putting up a defense wall and, almost like I'm picking on Cadence or something. It's like you truly listened. There was no you defending her. Oh no, she's not doing that because of this. I felt like you actually listened, and it was special. Like I appreciated that. because I was feeling the feeling that I felt.
Right.
And the fact that you took your time, you didn't put up a defense wall, you didn't try to, make an excuse for why she was doing what she was doing. You genuinely listened, and you're like, I get it. What can we do to solve the problem, And Whitney was wanting to cancel her hair appointment, take away taekwondo, take away everything, take her clothes away.
No, not that far.
She was wanting to do all that. I'm like, no, I don't want to be mean and,
right.
Go get her hair done. But she does need to respect me and understand, I do work hard for her, and there's days where I sacrifice time, and I would love to go outside and I would love to go to town, but there's work that's got to be done. I mean, bills have to be paid. The roof has to stay over our head, and at the end of the day, I feel like that's dad's responsibility. I mean, for the moms that are working,
no matter what time you live in, a man's always, I feel like, a man, as far as like a man who actually.
Are you saying I'm not a man?
No, I feel like everybody's going to take this wrong no matter what I say. I'm not talking about transgender. I'm not talking about anything like that.
What does that have to do with this conversation?
Because some people are like, oh, a man who feels like a man. Are they going to? No, people might take this wrong. I'm talking about a man who's truly a man as far as like he works, he takes care of his family and stuff like that. At the end of the day, he's going to feel like it's my responsibility no matter what time you're living in.
Yeah, I mean, it's
whether it's 2036 or 1942.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it has to do with it's our pride. I mean, it's the testosterone in us, it is the fact that, and some boys don't feel this way.
Right.
Truly, it's a man.
That's where I was going with it. I should have used the term boys.
Yeah, there is a difference. There's a lot of men out there who don't take charge or want to be the breadwinner or want to work hard, or they just mooch off their wife or
I don't think necessarily the man has to be the breadwinner. I think he just, in my eyes, he should be the protector and the provider.
Yeah.
Provider, yes, as far as, I mean, like if you and I both were working jobs, that's kind of taking away what I said. But obviously, just say you and I were both working jobs. If I made more than you, it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
But regardless, you're still working your butt off. Yeah. You're still protecting us, whatever. It's still the same thing, you know.
I feel like it's my responsibility, and I always have I have to be working my ass off.
Right.
Because my dad worked his ass off, and it could be the way I was raised or what. My mom worked her ass off too, but at the end of the day, my dad was waking up at 3:30 in the morning, wouldn't get home till 5, and then he would be the one to, not just work the 9 to 5. I'm talking building stuff out back,
right?
Tending to the yard, making sure that the family's protected. I mean, the dad's working all the time, not just at his job,
right?
And the mom is too. I'm not, I'm giving you guys grace. I'm not saying like you're not out here doing nothing, but at the end of the day, I feel like it's my responsibility, no matter how much you do. Because I ain't doing no laundry, I'll help, but I feel like that's a woman's job. I feel like it's your job. And there's a lot of men out there who do laundry. Kudos to you. My mom always did the laundry. My dad may have folded some towels, just like I do, and there was days where dad did do the laundry. At the end of the day, everybody has their own things that they like and they don't like, and their husband may cook, their husband may be the one to just eat. At the end of the day, I just feel like it's my sole responsibility to provide and work hard for my family. And I'm going to do that. And I'm okay with sacrificing time sacrificing time, because I know you guys are safe. I know you guys have food.
You're providing.
In the fridge. I know there's a roof over your head. And yeah, it sucks because I can't spend those moments with you, but I know you're taken care of. You know what I mean?
Right.
And, a lot lately, I'm trying to unplug
Right.
And, if I do have to work on something, I'll take it in the living room.
Yeah, I see that.
Instead of staying in here in the office, or give myself more of a break and do stuff with the kids, or, I don't want them to think that I don't love them because dad's always at work.
Right.
You got to find, and like you've said in the past, it's like, you got to find a good balance, whether it's work and home. And
well, just like yesterday,
it's hard for me to do that because I genuinely love what I do.
Well, yeah.
So I don't care to stay up late or do this. You know what I mean?
When it comes to finding a perfect balance, just like yesterday, right before you took Cadence to karate, before you came outside, you were working, but then you noticed all of us playing outside, and you came outside with us for a little bit because you noticed we were all outside playing. Mm-hmm. And it's like, that's good, even if it's just for 15, 20 minutes, they see that, the kids, they're going to, even if you're not out there the entire time, but they're going to be like, oh yeah, I remember that dad was out there. Nene was out there. Mom was out there,
Right.
And it's like, that's the perfect balance. You don't have to spend the entire time out there because you have work to do, but you still came out there, spent time with us, enjoyed the moment. So, I mean, I saw that.
Yeah, and it's hard. I mean, it is. It's hard because I love what I do. I don't mind the long nights and the long days. It'd be easy to find a good balance if I hated my job. You know what I mean? And I love what I do. I love the podcast. I love filming. I love editing. I love bringing stuff to life, and I'm very passionate about it. And that's what sucks, because I can get so involved and so in the job itself and be okay with that. But I have to understand, like, just because I'm okay and I'm content and, there's other people involved, whether that's my wife or my kids and stuff like that. And so being on the Daniel and Jordan podcast, which, by the way, we're changing the name very soon because it's more like a TV show. So we're going to be called the Daniel and Jordan Show. We're rebranding very soon. But besides the point, being on that and having those discussions with Jordan, and my best friend, we really do have, as comic as it is, it's some really deep discussions on certain words. And one of those words was focus. And, sometimes you can focus too much on something. And that's what I do with work because I love what I do. And you just got to find a healthy balance, which I've been really working at it. I haven't found the healthiest balance. I mean, what is that? I don't know.
Right. You just need to find a good balance.
A good balance that is suitable, not just for me, but for my wife and my kids too, because at the end of the day, if they're okay, I'm okay. Whether that's with food in the fridge or that work-life balance, it's like, if I mentally know you're okay and I see you're okay, then I guess what I'm doing's right, but until I find that, I don't know. It just takes time and it takes practice, just like anything else, but I feel like I'm really trying, at least. It's not like,
I see it,
just not putting in an effort, which you have to make a relationship work, You're
doing a good job.
Well, I appreciate it. And you're doing well too, as far as, having my back. And, that's a big thing. Because at the end of the day, I feel like regardless if it's your kids or your stepkids, to make it work.
It's still your kids together.
Well, but I'm saying, like, to make it work, and I'm talking about everything in general. I'm talking the marriage, the relationship with your husband and wife, the relationship with the kids. Your family is it. And to make it work, you and me, or him and her, whoever's listening, have to be on the same page.
Oh yeah.
To make it full circle.
Right.
And if you're not, then what is it? You're up Schitt's Creek without a paddle. You know what I mean? Like, if we're not on the same page, then it's just going to cause an argument.
Right.
And kids are smart, y'all. they know what to do and what to say to get mom and dad on the opposite ends of the field.
Just like us having that conversation and then me having your back more and understanding more. I think we had spoke a little bit about it, which I don't think we've come across it yet, as far as like you maybe not getting hyped up so quick as far as learning, whether it be Cadence or Eli or Leighton or whatever, learning to kind of let little stuff go. Because I know you just, it might, you might say stop or whatever. And it's like, you got to let the small stuff go, or just not raise your voice when it's not necessary, stuff like that. But like I said, that hasn't happened yet since we've had that conversation. But that's something that I want you to practice, because it's like, if you don't need to raise your voice, then it doesn't need to be. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of just pointless, because then you get the child upset and then,
And which is hard, because a lot of noises is a trigger for my anxiety, y'all. I can't deal with the TV going, the dogs barking, the loud ass cars going by, the kids arguing. What else am I missing?
And see, I could be watching TV in the midst of everything, and he's like, do you not hear any of this? I'm like, eating my popcorn. No. Today, while the kids were eating, Cadence had her phone on. Okay. This is how many things were going on. Cadence had her phone on. Leighton, who was right beside her, had her tablet on. Eli turns the TV on and has the Switch playing Fortnite, and the TV's on. What was that? 4 electronics. Was I in the kitchen?
Hell yeah, you was on your phone.
Oh,
doing something.
I didn't hear any of that.
I was about to freak out. I'm like, Eli, turn the TV off. Cadence, turn your phone down a little bit. Like, yeah, you were right there. You was on your phone though. I
didn't hear any of it.
Talk about unplugging. Y'all folks need to unplug every now and again.
I was working on our taxes, okay?
Unplug. You listening, you need to unplug. Sit your phone down.
I was working, okay? Yeah. I mean,
honestly, guys, you really do. You need to be mindful and sit your phone down. Certain time, especially if you have a big family, especially if you have a busy life, I feel like it's important to set it to the side at a certain time.
Well, just like if we all eat dinner together at the table, which we don't every night. Right. I mean, but when we do,
because she ain't cooking. Okay, let's be honest.
Well, I at least cook for the kids every day, but half stuff you won't eat because you want Chick-fil-A or it's not healthy. Mm-hmm. And then me, I don't normally eat till like 9 o'clock at night. I mean,
a couple grapes and that's it. Just because you eat like a damn rabbit don't mean I eat like a rabbit kind of guy.
I eat like a rabbit at like 9 o'clock at night, and then come 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, I eat like a little piggy.
What's them sisters called? The fat sisters. She be eating like the fat sisters at 3 in the morning, y'all, for real.
What did I eat?
The Slayton sisters.
What did I eat? I think I came downstairs here at like 2:37, something like that this morning. I looked at the clock too, and I peeked around to make sure you were asleep. And I'm real quiet when I open the gate. I'm like, making sure Leighton don't wake up or you don't wake up. And I go downstairs. What did I eat when I came downstairs this morning?
Ain't no telling. Probably Pop-Tart, donuts.
Oh, no, I ate the rest of those McDonald's cookies.
Did you really? Oh, my God.
3 of them. They were good.
One time she bought a whole box of honey buns. Whole box, which...
I didn't have not one honey bun.
Not this time. I'm saying in the past. She's bought a brand new box of honey buns, and they were gone in 2 days. None of the kids.
They were the mini honey buns.
No, it was a 6-pack of honey buns.
The little ones.
They ain't little.
Yes.
They're normal size.
They ain't the big ones, so they're the little ones.
Honey, we grew up. We're 33. A honey bun today looks different from a honey bun back in the 90s because we was small back then.
Okay, so the normal size is like this. I like the jumbo, so we had the normal size.
We had the normal
2 days size. Normal. Each night, I woke up in the middle of the night and ate 3.
She be showing out. The mini muffins, poor Leighton runs out of mini muffins all the time because she'll go down and smash 4 bags.
4 or 5.
Riddle me that. I mean, a pint of... No. Is that a pint that I could usually get you? Is a pint, y'all?
No, a pint is the little one.
Okay. Is it a
half
liter?
Gallon?
Is it a liter or
It's a half gallon.
A half gallon? How many nights do you guess that lasts? 2. Especially if she's watching Love is Blind. It's gone. Gone in 2 nights, 2 episodes, a whole half gallon of ice cream.
Love is Blind
gone.
or a Lifetime movie, and it's
she don't even look down to see. Oh shit! I've ate half the container.
No, I stay like this.
Yeah, she eats in a circle. Eats in a circle. Looks.
Because it's got to be even when I eat it. I can't just eat it straight down. It's got to be even.
I mean, what happens when you take the last bite? Do you start like hitting the cardboard at the bottom? You're like, oh hell, I'm all out.
No.
I mean, what do you do? What does that moment look like?
First of all, oh my God, I'm about to pee on myself. First of all, it's depressing, very sad, because I'm like, but you want to hear...
You don't even see the last bite.
You want to hear something funny, though? I actually see the last bite. I watch myself. I'm like, oh, this
probably
last
scrape every bit of that off the sides, don't you?
But the reason, let me tell you the reason behind this. The reason why I go in a circle is because if you go straight down, you're going to get the best ice. I like my ice cream kind of hard. I don't like it melted because it's more of it's like, I don't really like it liquidy. So if you go in a circle, you're getting the same consistency and before it melts. If I go straight down and then I start back at the top's going to be completely melted. I'm not going to eat that. So that's why I do that. Whitney math.
Oh, Whitney math or Whitney science?
Oh, Whitney science.
Yeah, because it's Daniel science on the other show, okay? So, see, for as smart as she is, she's about half stupid.
Whitney
math. Yeah, you get that?
And then, so it's depressing. So whenever I get to finish the ice cream, it's not depressing. First, I tell myself, I'm like, okay, whew, I'm done. I'm stuffed. I'm like, I'm starting my diet tomorrow.
Yeah, right. Tomorrow never comes.
Because I'll stuff myself full of ice cream. I'm like, it's okay. I'm a diet tomorrow. It'll be all right.
Someone got onto me on Instagram because I film you eating all the time. And I'm like, honey, you done ate a whole thing of ice cream in 2 nights. Someone's like, why you always pick on her for what she eats and drinks? I'm like, okay, Karen, lay off. We're giving each other a hard time. It's what couples do, you know?
And then next day comes around, just like today. I haven't ate anything except an apple.
I bet you're but
I
bet you want me to go to the store.
I save my calories for that reason, for ice cream.
I couldn't do it.
I kind of want a cheeseburger right now too.
I want to tell y'all before we go that she went to the doctor and got her hormones optimized. She did find out she has a funky gluten allergy.
Yeah.
So I don't know much about it.
So ice cream's probably not the best.
Yeah. She had some sort of gluten sensitivity and,
vitamin D deficiency.
Yeah, but she went to go get all this gluten-free stuff and didn't touch a thing. The salads you got, didn't eat those. But you know what she did eat? That half gallon of ice cream. Guess what? There was gluten in it.
Well, that's probably why I feel so bad after I eat it. Like I feel like I'm going to pass out.
I'd say so.
Feel sick and all that.
I'd say so.
But in the moment, it's great.
Yeah. Well, you got anything else for him, honey bunny?
Glad
I'm not holding my breath. I mean, whew. Yeah, I hope y'all ain't holding your breath.
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, you look great. Thanks for being you. Thanks for being my wife. Thanks for loving me. Thanks for taking care of my kids. Thanks for taking care of us as a family. My cat. My house.
Speaking of Zeus, he's gotten huge.
Yeah, it's gotten huge. But thank you. I don't say it enough, but I truly do want you to know it's much appreciated. And I'm glad you do it because I couldn't do it all. So
well, thanks.
We make a hell of a team.
Yeah, we do.
And we've said it for a long time. Does that make sense? We've said it from the beginning. We're
going on 8 years this October.
Well, if you don't got nothing, I don't got nothing. But I do want y'all to unplug a little bit and just, be mindful and know when to set it down, whether that's your phone, your work, your husband, your wife. Know when to take a little break, okay? Whether it's with your relationship, unfortunately, sometimes you need a little break. Or if it's with your job, do what you got to do.
Your hair looks nice.
Thanks. Oh, yeah, y'all comment. Let me know how my hair looks because I am letting it grow out. From
this angle, when you look at me, it really does look like it's swooped back, like it's longer.
It's not yet, but I'm wanting... She has a crush on Brad Pitt and...
What?
Or Leonardo DiCaprio. Anyways, I want to do the hair thing. So I'm letting my hair grow out. And we're getting a low fade.
Not Leonardo DiCaprio present. Leonardo DiCaprio in Titanic.
Or the Gilbert Grape movie.
No. He was cute, but no, not in that movie.
What movie?
Titanic.
Oh. I don't think he looked good in Titanic.
Oh, and the way he treated her in Titanic. Oh my gosh, he was so sweet.
She was so dramatic. Rose. That water wasn't cold.
Oh my gosh. And she wasn't even in the water. It was him.
Yeah. She's like, oh, Jack.
You would think they could have rotated, set a timer or something.
I mean, me being me, I'm saying, honey, we're going to have to switch for a minute.
Yeah.
I'm frozen.
Tag me in.
Yeah. Something. Switch. Scoot over.
Yeah.
That was a big piece of wood.
Yeah.
They could have both fit on there.
Well, they were trying to... I saw some science behind it. People have drawn diagrams and everything. If they would have just laid the opposite ways, like his head up here and her head down here, it would have worked to balance the weight out.
Whitney math. All right, guys, we appreciate you. We love you. Don't forget to send this episode to somebody, if you got a good laugh out of today, or if, you want to send it to someone who's a step parent. Send it to somebody who could benefit from the show. Don't forget to rate the show. Give us a 5-star if it's a 5-star. If you are listening and you're like, I hate this show. Hopefully you didn't make it to this part. But leave us a 1-star. We want to know what we're doing and if what we're doing is good and what we're doing is right. So leave a comment on Apple Podcasts. Leave a comment on Spotify. Yeah, just rate the show. Let us know. Let us know that this is the greatest show you've ever come across.
If you hate this show, then you're a hater.
Technically, yeah.
Yeah, that's why I said it. Whitney Math.
It's amazing.
When I said that, I was like, man, score. I thought I was saying something so cool. Yeah. And then when you said it, I was like, man, I feel like a dumbass.
All right, guys, we appreciate you. We love you. And until next time, stay awesome and stay sweet.